Hey everyone, I'm back again on the streets of Belfast on this beautiful sunny autumnal day, and I'm asking people 3 simple questions to see if they really love animals. 2 of the questions are simple. The third one is a lot more tricky for people to answer, but let's see how they handle it. Hang around, watch the video, leave some comments below, and let's get to it. Cheers. First question is, do you love animals and why?
I do. The only reason is, well, not the only reason, but I like animals because, well, they're just nice.
Okay.
Some of them are very loving and, well, funny, to be honest. So,
I agree. What do you think of people who abuse animals or animal abuse? Like somebody kicking a dog, for example.
Am I allowed to swear?
Say whatever you want. I swear in my videos all the time, I suppose.
Fuck them. I hate people. There was a thing going around, TikTok? There was something like a couple of years ago of a woman that abused her cat a whole lot, and I was just, fuck no, man, that's not.
And Kurt Zuma, remember the footballer in the summertime, was kicking his cat and posted it on TikTok. I mean, bad.
Yeah, horrible.
Third question's harder. No judgment with it, because I was probably once you as well. Do you fund or pay for any types of animal abuse that you've been taught not to think about? And what I mean by that is meat, dairy, eggs, leather, circuses, zoos, animal testing, stuff like that. What do you think of that?
For circus stuff, unless I'd say the animal's trained, maybe, I'd like it. But other than that, if they're being treated horribly, like kept in cages and not fed and stuff like that, then I'd think it's a bit, evil.
What about then meat, dairy, eggs, leather, stuff like that? I'm not trying to catch you out, by the way, because I paid for it too. I just didn't know any better.
Yeah, I'm normally this nervous anyway when anything happens.
No, you're fine, and I'm not trying to judge you, man.
No. It's good for you and stuff, and yes, I believe that obviously we should stop. And I see that there's a whole lot of like new products and stuff coming along that you can make meat with that aren't actually made out of animals. Yeah. So I think the more we fund that, the more we can actually save.
I agree with you totally.
Animals and stuff.
So I'm vegan, I'm an animal rights activist.
Yeah.
I don't normally always do this. I go on the farms, I've been in slaughterhouses, I've seen the whole process from start to finish, the whole process of the dairy industry, the meat industry, the pork industry, and they're all unbelievably cruel. And I'm trying to say to people, if you think it's wrong to kick a dog, for example, or bullfighting's wrong, you've seen what happens in a slaughterhouse. Why is it okay not to kick a dog, but it's okay to take an animal into a slaughterhouse, hang them upside down and cut their throat?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense. Like, it's basically, how do I say it?
It's the way you've been taught.
Basically.
By society, by your peers and your parents, and I'm not blaming your parents and people around you, that you were taught from you're young that you have to eat these products, or you have to consume milk for calcium, or you have to eat chicken for protein, and none of that's true. I haven't touched on animal products since I was 19 years old. I'm 55 now, so you can be healthy and thrive on a plant-based vegan diet. So if I can make those choices and not buy animal products, and an animal doesn't have to suffer, because I don't want them to suffer, does that not seem like a more sensible choice? What do you think of that?
Yeah, it's an extremely sensible choice. Like, I get what you're like. From 19, that's crazy. That's a crazy long time.
I wasn't always vegan from 19 because I was still buying leather, and I thought it was okay. And then I found out about the leather industry, and I knew that was cruel. So I wouldn't have classed myself as vegan, but I was very, very strict from 19 years old with what I ate. So it was a gradual process, and then I found out, wait a minute, I don't have to eat these products at all. I don't have to make an animal suffer. And animals, with your dog. Did you say you have a dog?
I do have a dog.
So your dog can feel pain and suffer in exactly the same way as you.
I hate
Cows, chickens, sheep, pigs, all the same. Yeah. We're just taught to think it's an arbitrary line. Love these animals. Don't think about these animals over here. Like if I told you what do we do to pigs when we take them to slaughterhouse in this country, what do you think we do to them?
I have no idea.
Would you be shocked to find out we throw them in the gas chambers? What do you think of that?
I didn't know we were raising young Hitlers, to be completely honest, but that's...
And people get offended when you say Holocaust, but it is an animal Holocaust. When you're taking innocent beings to a place So they're kept in darkness and shit conditions until they're 6 months old. The first time they see daylight or see the sunshine is the day somebody turns up with a truck and takes them to a slaughterhouse. There's one in Ballymena called Cranswick, one in Cookstown called Carroll Foods, and between them they're gassing 7,000 pigs a day in Northern Ireland.
That's a whole lot of pigs.
Yeah. And I've stood there and watched it and listened to it. Absolutely diabolical. I have never heard animals scream like it in my life, man. I'm not trying to make you feel guilty And the worst thing is watching the ones, because pigs are super intelligent, they're smarter than dogs, and if you interact with them, which we never get a chance to do, I have, they behave just like dogs. They love belly rubs, they love attention, they love playing, they're really smart, they're good at working out puzzles and stuff. They're smarter than primates, most of them. And we put them in the gas chambers, so it's CO2 gas, it's carbon dioxide, so they suffocate to death basically. And then they're rolled out the bottom, hung upside down, and somebody cuts their throat with a knife, and they bleed out while they're still alive when they come out of the gas chamber. The man, I've stood and listened to them scream, it's diabolical. We see the ones that are waiting to go in, they've figured it out by the screams, what's going on. Absolutely terrible. And if it was dogs, the entire country would be up in arms about it. But because it's pigs, nobody cares. You can go into Tesco's now and buy 6 Linda McCartney vegan sausages that taste exactly the same for £2. Well, what's the justification for eating the pork one? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense.
What do you think of all that?
Confusing. Honestly, it's very confusing. If we're going to treat animals justly, then at least show them. I think we should show them what it's like to live a full life, maybe, and then once maybe if they, I'd say this, if they have like a severe disability, maybe, then the best thing to do for them is
euthanasia is totally different. If somebody's suffering, I have no problem with euthanasia, because that's the right thing to do, is to put somebody out if they're suffering, in my opinion. I'd be the same with humans. I think euthanasia should be a thing if somebody's really suffering. But these animals are really young. You said about a full life. Pigs can live to 14 or 15. We gas them when they're 6 months old. Beef cows are killed between 12 and 18 months. They can live to 30. Chickens are killed at 48 days old. 48 days. So they're all baby animals. Yeah, lambs, the lambs you see in the fields? Yeah. 16 weeks old. I mean, you imagine killing your dog at 16 weeks old, so somebody can eat them when they can just eat a vegan burger instead. That to me is wrong. And the dairy industry, again, really cruel. Like, see all the cows you see standing in the fields, they're all female, every single one of them, because females produce milk, males don't. So all the boy baby calves are disposed of at a very young age. Some are killed on the day they're born, set in the ground, shot in the head, or hit over the head with a spade or a shovel just to dispose of them. And the rest get sold to the veal industry, so they get shipped off to the continent or to Africa. They go into a veal pen, which is a dark pen, with a chain around their neck, and they stand in there for 16 weeks in darkness, can't move. 16 weeks, out they come, and a stranger will pull a knife across their throat, just because they're boys and they don't produce any milk. They're not the same cows that we eat for beef.
It's a bit like slavery.
It is slavery. Yeah. So we're enslaving animals, we're keeping them in shit conditions, and then we take their life away from them, and the only thing they have is their life. And we somehow managed to take that from them as well. So I'm saying to people, I know you're young, and it's probably the first time somebody's said these things to you, and I'm genuinely not judging anybody, because I know you love animals. I can see it already in what you're saying. But you've just been taught that it's okay to do this because probably necessity. But there is no necessity. You can just eat something else. You've been taught from you're young. If I said to you, why do we drink dairy milk, what would you say?
Strong bones and teeth.
Calcium. Yeah. So calcium's a mineral that comes from the ground. You probably learned that at school already. I did years ago anyway. So the reason cows have it in their milk is because they eat grass. So we can get calcium from the same sources basically as they. I'm not saying eat grass, but we can eat greens, cabbage, broccoli, spinach, full of calcium. You don't need to be drinking milk from another animal. Cow's milk is for baby cows. Monkey's milk's for baby monkeys. Human milk's for baby humans. Then you wean off and you eat solid food. You have no need to be eating cow's milk for calcium. It's a complete and utter myth. You can just get it from the same place that the cows get it from. And protein, again, complete and utter myth. Eat enough food, you'll get enough protein. You ever see a silverback gorilla?
Yes.
250 kilograms, massively muscular, basically the same as us, 99% the same as us. They eat leaves. So if you eat enough food, you'll get enough protein. Mr. Universe has been vegan, World's Strongest Man has been vegan, UFC boxers, NFL players, footballers, endurance athletes. Lewis Hamilton's vegan, David Hayes vegan, Nate Diaz is vegan. So I'm back then to the justification. If you don't need it to survive, you can be healthy on a vegan diet, you can buy alternative products for everything. What's our justification for making animals suffer when we really don't need to? I guess that's my final point. What do you think of all that?
You know, that makes sense. That makes a total sense. If we can get, like you say, calcium from the ground, then there is no point in milking animals and stuff.
Taking their babies away from them and killing their babies, and then when the cows, those milking cows are 5 years old, their milk production drops. Guess what happens to them? They get taken to the slaughterhouse too. They should live to 30. You know, so they're all killed at a young age, and it's just completely unnecessary. And that's my main point. It's not necessary. You can eat something else, maybe taste a little different. Let's say it's 5% different. What do you value more? 5% taste difference or an animal's life?
At that point, 5% difference. I've saw some people on the likes of YouTube or other like online sites saying that the vegan burger tastes like basically nothing different than a normal burger.
I can vouch for that. There are vegan products that some taste slightly different. Like oat milk and coffee taste slightly different. I'd argue it tastes better than dairy milk and coffee. Vegan sausages and stuff, the Linda McCartney ones, most people will tell you they're better. KFC do vegan chicken nuggets. I haven't tasted them, but most people who are not vegan tell me they taste better than the normal ones. McDonald's are doing a McPlant. Burger King do a plant-based Whopper, and people are telling me you can't even tell the difference. So there's not even a 5% taste difference for most things anymore, and they cost the same. Well then, why buy the one that is funding industries to do things to animals that you would never do yourself? What do you think of that?
And it makes sense. Makes total sense. Confusing. Still confusing.
Worth thinking about.
Yeah, definitely worth thinking about. I'll say that much.
Could I give you a card?
Yes, you can.
What's your name?
Daniel.
I'm Cliff. Thanks, my man. It's been nice to talk to you, and I really appreciate you stopping and taking it in, because believe it or not, most people who do stop when I explain it to them, some people can be resistant at first, but when you explain it and you understand it like you have, it's maybe a new way of thinking, but I think it's definitely worth thinking about.
Indeed.
I appreciate you, man. Thanks very much.